The biggest transfer of wealth in this generation will happen over the next 2 years, and Warren Buffett has already positioned himself for it. So the real question is, what is Warren Buffett preparing in 2026, and how can you position yourself the same way? So in this video, I'll break down exactly Buffett's latest investment decisions, from his record-breaking $340 billion in cash to his reduced equity exposure. We'll look at these moves and how they tie into the larger cycles playing out, from rising debt levels to geopolitical tensions, and finally, we'll cover what smart investors can do to protect and multiply their capital before the next reset hits. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Ace, and I built a 400k plus portfolio in my early 20s by following Warren Buffett's principles and studying the 18-year real estate cycle. And in this video, I'll show you exactly what Warren Buffett's current moves reveal about the coming market shift and what investors like us should do before it happens. Now, a quick disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. Everything I share here is only my personal opinion for education and entertainment. Always do your own research before investing. Point 1. Buffett's current moves, what they're signaling. Over the past 2 years, Warren Buffett has quietly moved into one position more than anything else: cash. Berkshire Hathaway now sits on over $340 billion of cash, the largest cash reserve in company's history. And that is not idle money just collecting dust. It's strategic ammunition. And it's because every time that Warren Buffett's cash position hit a new high, for example 1999, 2008, 2020, and now 2025 and 2026, it's been right before a major opportunity to buy the world on sale. And at the same time, he's been a net seller for 9 straight quarters, shredding more than $130 billion in equities since 2022. He's trimming exposure where valuations have stretched high the most, selling about $80 billion in Apple stocks, reducing positions in the Bank of America, Citigroup, and several other financial institutions. That's classic Warren Buffett, harvesting the profits while everyone else is still celebrating. But do not mistake caution for paralysis. He's been quietly deploying capital into areas where investors are not looking. Now, firstly, Japan. Warren Buffett has boosted stakes in 5 Japanese trading houses, including Itochu, Marubeni, Mitsui & Co., Sumitomo, and Mitsubishi Corp. Industrial giants trading at less than half the valuations of US peers. And he has made his moves into these countries because he couldn't find opportunity elsewhere. So while he reduced his positions in stocks and increased his cash, he still tried to find good assets, good investments elsewhere. And he made this very big move into Japan around 2020 and then doubled again in 2023 and 2025. At that time, the world, especially the US, was deep in a late cycle phase. Valuations were stretched, credit was tightening, and debt to GDP ratios were exploding. Meanwhile, Japan was sitting in a comfortable and completely different part of the cycle. Its economy has spent 3 decades deleveraging after its 1990s real estate bubble. Corporate Japan was now cash-heavy, conservative, and trading at massive discounts to book value. And this classical cycle positioning. Buffett was shifting capital away from overheated US markets into undervalued, low-debt economies that still had room for yield. And each of these companies own stakes in everything, from energy to infrastructure to shipping to food distributions to logistics, real estate, and manufacturing. They're globally diversified, vertically integrated, and generate steady free cash flow across multiple economic cycles. So from a value investing lens, Warren Buffett saw low valuation with price to earnings ratio between 8 to 12, strong dividends yielding around 3 to 5%, high return on equity mostly above 10%, and low debt to equity ratios. Now secondly, Warren Buffett also looked into energy and materials. In 2025, he made one of Berkshire's biggest recent acquisitions, purchasing OxyChem, the petrochemical arm of Occidental Petroleum, for roughly $9.7 billion in cash. Now this stock has great margin, revenue growth, great profitability, and balance sheet. And not only that, Buffett knows that when inflation lingers and governments spend heavily, energy and materials and commodities overall outperform. Just like in the 1970s, the last time the US had this much debt. commodities and real estate were the only safe havens back then. Now, OxyChem gives Buffett the exposure to the industrial and chemical side of that boom, essential materials for everything from infrastructure, construction, and manufacturing to agriculture. It was the quiet part of the commodity cycle that most investors overlooked. However, I do think that Warren Buffett might sell in a few years, given the peak of the commodity cycle is not too far away. And I'm not sure if he's aware of the cycle or not, but he's always timed it extremely well, which does make me wonder the possibility of Buffett using these cycles. The third thing that Warren Buffett actually invested in was more into income and liquidity. Now, Warren Buffett has turned Berkshire Hathaway into the single largest private holder of US Treasury bills, about $305 billion worth. So instead of chasing speculative technology, he's earning safe returns while waiting for blood in the streets. And finally, selective stock buying. Now, while going mostly cash, he did add a few selective positions into companies like Constellation Brands, the global beverage leader behind Corona and Modelo. He also increased his stake into SiriusXM, now owning about 35% of the whole company. So yeah, while they're boring, yes, but Warren Buffett loves boring companies where it throws off predictable cash every quarter. Now, he also increased his stakes into Nucor, one of America's most profitable steel producers, and in home builders like Lennar and D.R. Horton. That's a subtle but powerful signal. He's positioning in strong balance sheet and value stocks in the real estate field for either the real estate last run-up or the rebuild phase after the downturn, when governments start pouring money into construction and housing rebounds at the start of the next cycle. And Buffett also grew positions in United Health Group, one of the largest private health insurers in the world with great moat and growth. Now, United Health is not just an insurance company, it's a vertically integrated healthcare empire. It owns Optum, a data-driven arm that runs hospitals, clinics, and prescription management systems. Now, Optum alone drives almost half of United Health's revenue and gives it direct access to the future of healthcare, data, and patient analytics. That's why UNH keeps posting double-digit growth even as other sectors slow down. And this company also has amazing profitability, return, and balance sheet with great growth. So overall, all these moves that Buffett has been making paint one single picture. He's preparing for the next chapter of the cycle when liquidity tightens, prices correct, and the real investors step back in. Now, before we move on, if you do want deeper breakdowns like this one on how Buffett positions before every major market cycle shift, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, link in bio and description. Point 2. The forces shaping 2026 and where Buffett's positioning meets reality. Now, before we dive into what you can do, we have to understand what's pushing the markets into a regime where Warren Buffett's strategy actually might win. Because his moves with cash, Japan, OxyChem, United Health, and builders aren't random. They're responses to 4 macro forces converging as we approach 2026. Now, domino A, elevated valuations and market euphoria. Now, the US equity market is not just expensive, it's historically expensive. Valuation multiples like the Shiller PE ratios right now are sky high. Buffett himself has reduced exposure in multiple high earnings and high multiples, high PE ratio names like Apple, financials, and bank. Because when valuations do get this high, the margin of error gets thinner and thinner. And Buffett seems to be saying, I don't want to buy here, I want to wait for mispriced panics. He's trimming the gains until prices correct and use those money from those gains to buy back again. Domino 2, debt saturation and interest rate friction. Right now, we are deep into a layer of global debt that feels like it's reaching tipping points. Governments, corporations, and consumer debt are at their highest level ever. But when rates stay stubbornly high or even rise further, the stress points actually start appearing. Debt servicing becomes painful, defaults increase, and capital contracts. Now, Warren Buffett's $300 billion plus in cash is a cushion against that. He's preparing for a shift where liquidity becomes scarce and capital reverts to safety. Plus, his move into Japan and short-term US treasuries shows that he's playing the relatively yield game, find return while minimizing risk. Domino C, policy, trade wars, and global tension. Now, tariffs, geopolitical friction, and supply chain realignment are no longer background noise. They are now the central and the most important variables. When these risks escalate, foreign investments will start to hesitate, start to stop going back in, and cross-border capital will start slowing down. Now, Buffett's Japan position and his industrial chemicals bet, like OxyChem, benefit in a world where supply chains are expensive, trade is volatile, and raw materials become more valuable. Point 3. How to prepare before the market resets. 1. Build liquidity and reduce fragility. Buffett's first rule is simple. Never get caught without cash when the tide goes out. He's sitting on more than $300 billion in cash because he knows liquidity is freedom. It lets him act when others are forced to sell. For everyday investors, that means tightening up your own balance sheet, pay off high interest debt, stack up cash, and if you're over-leveraged, you're not investing, you're gambling. 2. Focus on businesses with moats and cash flow. The biggest lesson that Buffett repeats is simple. Buy companies that can survive any environment. He looks for cash flow, margin of safety, moat, growth, good balance sheet, and definitely not hype. And that's why he keeps holding Apple despite trimming and selling it already. Why he's added United Health and OxyChem, and why he's gone into Japan's trading houses. Each of these businesses dominates their ecosystem, controls pricing, and benefits from rising global demand. They have moats, and moats protect capital when the storms actually hit. 3. Understand the cycle and use it to your own advantage. Now here's the one truth that most people missed. Every major downturn follows the same rhythm. Credit expands, optimism peaks, inflation bites, rates rise, and liquidity dries up. And we're now in that tightening phase. What Ray Dalio calls the late stage of the debt cycle is the same moment before every reset. The 1920s, the 1970s, and the 2000s. And Warren Buffett knows this so well. That's why he's sitting on over $330 billion in cash. He's waiting for the reset, the moment that great assets trade below their real value. And when that happens, he will not hesitate. He will go in, he will buy the future, while everyone else is still fleeing, running away from the past. Now, if you do want my research, my data, and my real positioning behind these cycles, subscribe to my newsletter, link in bio and description. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think Buffett's patience will pay off again in the next cycle reset?